Probably if you allow me to just go through the discoveries that I made, and then we'll come to their responses. So first is that at the 1090 Vermont Avenue address, we do not have the National Cathedral of Ghana there. They don't have an office there. Second discovery. So I applied formally for the articles of incorporation and all annual reports, if they have filed, from the relevant authorities. I hold here copies of the response and the certificate of authenticity from Rebecca Janovich, dated 27th March 2023 at 7:11 p.m. This is to certify that they attach is a true and correct copy of the documents for this entity as shown by the records of this office, National Cathedral of Ghana and Bible Museum Foundation. So I do know by this certificate that I have obtained very authentic documents from the government of the District of Columbia, Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection, the Corporations Division. When you go through the articles of incorporation, it has emerged that none of the clergy who serve on the board of trustees here are part of that incorporation that has taken place in the United States of America. And I did make that point forcefully in the article that I put out. You notice that in Ghana, the board of trustees is made up of all of these respected clergy. However, what they've done in the United States of America departs from that. Now, you have to bear in mind that this is now presented as a national project. Since the 18th of July 2019, it has been incorporated as such. Our Attorney General is now secretary to the board. So this is now a national project based on those articles of incorporation from 2019, even if it did not start as a national project. You will expect that that same trajectory will be followed anywhere, because this is not just a private, endeavor where you can just do whatever you want. For good reason, accountability. You are using public funds and all of that. We should know who we will go to account to us on how they are using our taxes. We discovered for the first time that apparently some private citizens, really not known to the incorporation done in Ghana, are those really running the show over there in the United States of America. And the incorporation documents revealed Eric Ochridako, Dr. Vernon Dako.
Not Ochridako.
Ochridako.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Not Dako.
No, there's Ochridako and there's Vernon Dako. Yeah, there are two Dakons.
The two of them are Dakons.
Yes, there are two Dakons.
Not related.
But the Cathedral Secretariat says they are not related. Now, Dr. Opoku Mensah is the third person there. So these are described as the governors. Now, interestingly, in their response, they say that they had done this before the Attorney General's advice on the 6th of January 2022. It's been more than a year since that advice. They claim that this is an interim arrangement. None of the documents I have, none of the filings I have here show that this is an interim arrangement. They have been operating as such.
Is the reason I said underline maintenance.
Yes. So we are now being told that they will reconstitute this and align it with the Attorney General's advice. But let me do something this morning to show the dishonesty that is at play. The attempt to hide behind a pre-January 6, 2022 advice that we were doing this because we didn't have the Attorney General's advice. That is why we registered this using these people and ignored all the clergy on the board. They put this out with the hope that I do not have a full appreciation of their conduct in the United States of America. Let me reveal to you this morning for the first time that I have secured other incorporations that they have done in the United States of America after the Attorney General's advice. Yes, and they did not follow this advice. So after the January 6, 2022 advice of the Attorney General, which they concede that they will now follow up and do the right thing, they have continued on this trajectory in the states of Illinois and Oklahoma after the advice of the Attorney General. I hold in my hands a second incorporation of the National Cathedral of Ghana and Bible Museum in the state of Illinois. Dated, they filed this the 2nd of September 2022. Will you believe that?
2nd September
2022.
Okay.
And the whole process was
almost
finalized.
10 months after the advice.
And the whole process was finalized on the 2nd of October 2022. And this time, if you go through, I'll share a copy with you. And with all of these documents, I have a testimony from the Secretary of State. You see the signature that this is a certified true copy from the state of Illinois. The president is Dr. Vernon Darko at 1331 Gemini Street. Secretary is Eric Ochiri Darko. And director is Dr. Paulo Poku Mensah. And this is finalized on the 2nd of October 2022. I also have that of Oklahoma. That is even much recent, 12 December 2022, where they registered another National Cathedral of Ghana. In my first expose, I said I was going to do 7 series. But some of these blatant falsehoods is compelling me to bring out a number of these things even before the next episode. But perhaps it's good that I didn't put all of it so that we can now see, clearly the deception at play. So it is now established, I am clear in my mind, that it was deliberate to conduct themselves this way in the United States of America, with absolutely no regard to the January 6, 2022 advice of the Attorney General. And when they do that, what the advantage they have is that they evade accountability. You are using private citizens, they are not accountable to us, they are not incorporated in Ghana, they are not part of the National Cathedral of Ghana, legal architecture, legal arrangement. And remember that this is a not-for-profit. They applied that they won't pay taxes, and the IRS responded on the 13th of December 2021, granting them exempt status. So all of the funds they are raising, if you don't have a system of accountability, you don't know who is accountable, you don't have proper structures, corporate governance is not being respected, how do we know how much is being raised in our name, in the name of the people of Ghana? And how do we get them to account for it? So probably the National Cathedral of Ghana Secretariat did not know that we have a fuller picture of what they are doing in the United States of America. So that's the matter to do with the incorporation. Now let me move to Carrie Summers. So again, when you go on the website of the National Cathedral of Ghana, a gentleman by name Carrie Summers, indeed his full name after I secured documents in the United States of America, I now know his full name is Carrie Lee Summers. He is described as a consultant for the United States of America. Then I need to bring you to this document. And this is really the reason I had to go to the United States, because I saw that we're spending so much money on U.S. operations, so much of Ghanaian taxpayers' money. Because when you go through this document, when we asked them to account for the 339 million in Parliament, they told us in this document that they had paid some money to a group known as the Nehemiah Group, 28.2 million Ghana cedis. That's a
Which document?
This is
To Parliament?
Yes, a document by the National Cathedral Secretariat to Parliament. You know, this was in November last year, the 2023 budget approval, when they put in the budget for the first time an allocation of 80 million cedis. So we said before we consider that 80 million cedis request, we want to know the 339 million, which the Finance Minister told the Vote of Censure Committee has been withdrawn. What did you use it for? We want you to account for it. So in accounting for it, they brought us this document. And that is how we got to know that we're sending so much money out there to the United States of America. So Carrie Lee Summers Nehemiah Group has received this 28.2 million according to their own documents to us in Parliament. So I decided to go there and see what's really happening at the Nehemiah Group, how this Nehemiah Group looks like. Again, the address that is advertised on the website, and viewers can go on the National Cathedral of Ghana website. You see an address, 3119 S Scenic Avenue in Springfield, Missouri. So I traveled all the way, went there, and to the shock of my life, that address led me to a warehouse. I didn't see any Nehemiah Group. Warehouse. Ramshackle, dilapidated warehouse. And the inscription I saw was Churchill Coffee Company Limited, warehouse division.
The press release didn't deal with that?
No.
Okay.
It cleverly avoided that. They didn't deal with it. It says Churchill Coffee Company, wholesale division. I was shocked. I had to check my GPS again and all of that, you know. So I decided to go around, assess the building, and you see in the photos, I was even looking at the mailbox and all of, just to be sure. And it was clear that that is the 3119 S Scenic Avenue in Springfield, Missouri. Fortunately, as I was assessing the building, Carrie Summers pops out of the building, and it was clear to me that really that is the address. Now, this is a gentleman who heads a company that has been given $6 million. We are told when you go on the National Cathedral website that contact us. This is our address, Nehemiah Group. I go there, and there is absolutely nothing to do with the Nehemiah Group. But you see, Doc, again, let me do this for the first time on your show. I've obtained a detailed report on Carrie Lee Summers, and I have become more worried about
So before you
his
go
modus
on,
operandi.
just a minute
Yes.
before you go on. Now, a regular viewer in the States,
Yes.
Makojo Buafo,
Yes.
when you started your thing,
Yes.
he just Googled the National Cathedral of Ghana US address.
Yes.
And what he found, Ghana-based info at nationalcathedral.org, Ghana-based address, National Cathedral Secretariat, State House, Accra, Ghana, US-based email, Carrie Summers at nationalcathedral.ghana.org, US-based address, the Nehemiah Group, 3119 South Scenic Avenue, Suite A, Springfield, Missouri 65807.
Yeah.
And then about us, consultant for the United States, Carrie Summers. Address, National Cathedral Secretariat, State House, Accra, Ghana, USA Consultants, National Cathedral of Ghana and Bible Museum Foundation Incorporated, 1090 Vermont Avenue, Washington, D.C., 20005.
Yes.
Contact us. So
Yes.
that's what we've put
Yes.
on the screen.
Exactly. Yes.
So this
he's
is
right.
what you find.
Yes.
If you go looking for the address. This
The
is
address.
what we have advertised.
Yes.
And you're saying that when you look at the first one,
Yes.
which is the Nehemiah Group.
Yes.
That's the coffee
It's a warehouse.
warehouse.
Yes.
And then the other one.
The other one, no show.
Okay. So now if it is indeed a holding address,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to just take correspondence and forward to our attorney, how come the National Cathedral Secretariat advertises a holding address
Yeah.
just for the purposes of receiving correspondence and transmitting same to an attorney as the office of the National Cathedral in the USA?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. And then also, why is it that in the subsequent incorporations they are doing in other states of the United States of America, they are putting out conflicting addresses? So when they were registering in September in Illinois,
Yes.
they said that the Washington, D.C. is the address, the 109.
1 second.
Then when they were incorporating, I'm just done in a second. When they were incorporating the one in Oklahoma,
Yes.
they provided 3119 Cynic South Springfield. And that address will led me to the warehouse. Interestingly, is the same address Dr. Polopoku Mensah is using. Or if you go to all the incorporation documents, all the filings, he uses that same address. He tried to explain
As
it
his
away,
address.
his address. So he and Carrie Summers sharing the same address. At what point did he know Carrie Summers? And at what point did he engage him as consultant? And then release our funds to that person?
Okay. Nana, you want-
But
Nana, you want to say
I'm
something?
sure you went to the right address.
Oh, of course. Of course, I went there. And
Yes,
viewers,
that's
this is an
right.
international program. Viewers can go
What
there.
you said,
Yes.
the paragraph 5 of
Yes.
their response seems to touch on that. They said that that's the norm, and that rather than being fraudulent, the process is used by thousands of non-profits and businesses. Isn't that what you're referring to?
Yes. So I'm saying that, Nana, so my question is that they say a non-profit organization needs a registered agent in the state of registration. And is the reason why they use that DC address.
Yeah.
However, if you go to,
So it's like a mailing address.
yes, but if you go to the website, which somebody, Marco Joba from the state who was watching us did, it gives you this address,
Yeah.
Which one?
this DC address.
Yeah.
That's what we just showed on the screen. So my question is, if indeed it is a holding address, just for the purposes of receiving correspondence,
Yeah.
how do you advertise that address as your US address?
And the US address is which one?
The DC one.
No, the
The
lawyer,
DC one.
The DC one.
The other documents, the one that's
The articles of incorporation, the
Yeah.
lawyer, that's in Oklahoma.
That's the number 7. Oklahoma.
Isn't that the US
That's the
address?
lawyer's
No,
address.
it's not.
No, that's
It's
the
not
lawyer's
used.
address.
It's either the DC one or the Nehemiah one.
Or the Nehemiah
Those
one,
two are
yes.
used. And now he's
The
even
Nehemiah one
saying
is
that
in Missouri.
yes.
Yes.
And that's the warehouse.
Warehouse.
Yes.
Where you can buy coffee.
And now
wholesale
what he's
basis.
saying is that even with the two other incorporations, one of them used the DC,
Yes.
which is supposed to be a holding.
Yes.
Another one used a different address, not the holding again.
Yes.
Unless maybe we have a
Those
second holding.
incorporations are in which states?
Illinois and Oklahoma.
The Illinois incorporation used the DC address.
Use the DC
Yes.
address, yes. And the Oklahoma address is the 311 Cynic, that is the warehouse. Carrie Summers is
But Sammy, so 1 second. So all of these difficulties with address and offices. So you're saying that it's part of some criminal intent?
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes. And there's a grand scheme to just profit out of this project. They don't want to be accountable, and that's why they are using individuals. Look, I can tell you on authority that there are members of the board of trustees who did not know
about
all of these things.
U.S.
Yes,
United States.
Yes, and they thought that they were part of the U.S. arrangement. They didn't know that they are not part of it.
Were they brought any documents to sign?
But they went for fundraising events.
Yeah, all of them.
Yes,
not all.
Yes,
some of them.
Most of them, and they thought that it's just a branch. They have oversight authority and all of that. But with what is emerging, these are people who are operating on their own,
or operating on the supervision of one or two people.
Yes, and in flagrant disregard of the Attorney General's opinion of January 6, 2022. And as I have proved this morning, long after the Attorney General's opinion, they are still doing this. Business is booming, so they are registering in other states so that people will donate, and they are not accounting to anybody. All of these documents we received in Parliament, at no point have they accounted for U.S. fundraising. I have also found out that in violation of U.S. law, they have not filed any returns. All of these guys, Vernon Dakun, Ochre Dakun, who are receiving these monies, they have not accounted for these monies. Because by May 15th of 2022, they were supposed to file their annual returns. How much? Because all non-profits, you must report how much you have received, how much donations have come in for transparency purposes. They violated the law. They haven't filed. This year, they have also not filed. So
we're yet to get to 15th.
Yes.
They could file before the 15th.
But so far they haven't filed. The records I have. So all of these collections are going on, and they are not filing. Now, yesterday, I put out to me what is even the most dangerous and the most scandalous. So you notice that in this letter, and you see, Dr. Opoku Mensah has created a big problem for those two guys. Very, very big problem. If they are not careful, they will end up in jail. Dr. Opoku Mensah writes, says, indeed, it was because of their early and consistent commitment to the National Cathedral project that the Secretariat and not the government suggested they be used to incorporate the foundation. Emphasis here. One of the requirements for the incorporation is to have a U.S. Social Security number. The two alleged faceless individuals provided the needed legal documentation to enable the registration to be completed, unquote. Doc, work I have done on the Social Security number that was used for the incorporation of the National Cathedral of Ghana and Bible Museum. That Social Security number belongs to a gentleman called Jose Luis de la Paz, who has many aliases. He's also called Jose Luis Salgado de Paz, LD, and what have you. We are now dealing, though, with a clear case of identity theft. This gentleman died on the 17th of September 2014. The police report I have here indicates that he died at age 31. And U.S. authorities are shocked as to how his Social Security number is being used after his death, and it has been used to register an entity known as the National Cathedral of Ghana. Now we are being told by Dr. Opoku Mensah that these two guys are responsible.
Did you say you've not seen their release of May 4?
No, I haven't seen that.
Because their release of May 4...
That's when? Yesterday?
Deals with this specific allegation you made.
Okay.
And they believe that you're mixing up tax IDs with Social Security numbers. And this is what they say. They say, following the publication of the Volume 1 of the so-called bombshells and the National Cathedral's activities in the USA, the MP for Norton and ranking member on Foreign Affairs in Ghana's Parliament, Honorable Okudzeto, followed up with episode 2 this morning, Thursday, May 4, 2023 at 9 a.m. Titled Episode 2 of National Cathedral Scandals, America Edition, it is prefaced once again by such lack of knowledge of the U.S. system. As a Ghanaian, I find it extremely embarrassing to see this expressed by the ranking member of Foreign Affairs in the country's parliament. The main body of Episode 2, however, is the malicious accusation that the National Cathedral is guilty of some serious crime of identity theft in the registration of the National Cathedral Foundation in the USA. In arriving at this so-called identity theft, the MP distorts the information on the registration documents by taking the taxpayer ID number 86-3859197, Appendix 1, and disingenuously changes it to the Social Security number SSN 863-85-9197, belonging to a deceased named Jose Salgado, Appendix 2. He then proceeds to accuse the National Cathedral of using the stolen in quote identity of the deceased to register. For the record, the taxpayer ID number is issued for corporations and is separated by one dash, to wit 86-3859197. This taxpayer ID number is derived from the Employment Identification Number EIN, which is applied for as a first step in the application for a tax-exempt status. See Appendix 3. The Social Security number, on the other hand, is issued to individuals and is separated by two dashes, to wit 863-85-9197. Even if the numbers are the same, because of the dashes, they mean different things. Thus, the taxpayer ID 86-3859197 is not the same thing as the Social Security number 863-85-9197. But this distortion is neither the result of an accident nor of ignorance. It reflects the modus operandi of the MP, Okudzeto. All his so-called National Cathedral scandals, in quote, are distortions of information on the project. As we have consistently argued and repeated in our press release of yesterday, May 3, 2023, the National Cathedral project has been implemented with integrity and with no criminality. As with the recklessly populist and reputationally damaging accusations of the McCarthy era in the USA, the misinformation and distortions of the National Cathedral project will ultimately unravel. The unraveling of the so-called identity theft is just the beginning, and is signed by Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, and they've added the appendices of all the documents. So there's 1B, 1C, and then an appendix 2, 3, all of that, which shows that there's a tax identification and then the Social Security. So
do they provide the Social Security number they used? You must provide a Social Security number.
Yes.
Do they provide that?
So, yes. So they say that that number,
yes, that
you the number that you used, that the Social Security number is 863
yes
-85
yes
-9197. That is the one that belongs to the deceased person. That's
yes.
what you use.
Yes.
Yes, but they're saying that the registration documents, what they have used has just one dash, 86. So that is a taxpayer ID number and not a Social Security number. Yes.
The employer ID number is linked to your Social Security number. You must provide a Social Security number.
Yes.
And what they don't know is that this work is being done by a crack team of lawyers, chartered accountants, private investigators who understand thoroughly the system. They have to provide the Social Security number they used. I have had a look.
They have provided it.
No, they have not.
What they have done is to show
it's
that,
just to work with dashes.
It's to show that, yes,
yeah,
but it's true.
Yes.
The Social Security numbers have two dashes.
Yes.
And taxpayer IDs, which are given to corporate entities,
yes,
have one.
Yes.
And that what you are dealing
Everybody
with
knows
is
that.
a taxpayer ID.
I'm dealing with both. I put out the IRS letter, which has the employer ID number.
Yes.
And I decided to get to the background, the back end, to find out how this was obtained, what Social Security number was used.
Okay.
And I discovered that the Social Security number used belongs to Jose Luis de la Paz or Salgado. So I stand by that because
So the point you're making is that you set out after seeing this,
yes, after I intercepted
to find
the IRS,
out
yes, which social security number was used.
To incorporate the company.
Yes, to incorporate the company.
And you found out that was this deceased person.
This deceased person, yes.
So you still stand by it?
I still stand by it. I have a police report. I have reports from the IRS. And what they don't know is that formal investigations have commenced into this, because the tax officials have told me that they are shocked.
Are you suggesting that you have official documentation to suggest that it was the deceased person's social security that was used to obtain the tax ID?
Absolutely. Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes. Absolutely.
You're sure about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have all I'll share some of the documentation with you.
All right. So Sammy, be wrapping up with us so that I can bring in Nana.
So let me emphasize that.
Yes.
I insist that I have reports from IRS, from the police departments, all here, which show the social security number. I challenge the National Cathedral Secretariat to let us have the social security number they use, different from what I have secured, which is in the name of Jose Luis de la Paz, who died on September 17, 2014. Look, nothing is adding up about this cathedral, nothing. Now, let me deal with Carrie Summers. Carrie Lee Summers, who is sharing the same address as Dr. Polopoku Mensah. Very, very strange matter. And it raises issues of conflict of interest, insider dealing, and what have you. In their May 2nd statement, they claim that, what we have paid him is less than $1 million. Why are they not being exact? Why are they not telling us the specific amount? Look, it's public funds, so. You have paid somebody with public funds, our money, our taxes. Meanwhile, when you came to Parliament, I have the document here. Consultancy services. The Nehemiah Group and Bible Museum of Africa is the same guy. He is in charge of this organization, Carrie Summers. 28,244,716.97. Is this amount less than $1 million? At the time, when you work out the exchange rate, this was $6 million.
But this was their own document.
Their own document
that they
brought to
presented
Parliament.
to Parliament. Okay.
I don't know whether they thought that Parliament is just a dumping ground. When you bring your document, we won't interrogate it. It's the same difficulty they had with me when I was asking questions about JNS. You say you have paid somebody for contractors' mobilization. Then we ask, where is the contract? What kind of mobilization to do what? Then it opens a can of worms. Apparently it's one of your own on the board of trustees. The same thing here. You present documents. Anytime we ask questions, we delve deeper to really understand what is going on. Then you start telling us different stories. You have told us 28.2 million paid to this Carrie Summers group. He is the CEO, he is the president and CEO of these two entities. Now you are telling us that, less than $1 million. So where is the shortfall? Who is keeping the rest?
They say that the point they make is that...
and in any case, where is the contract with Carrie Summers? Even if it is for a peso or $1, where is the contract? What kind of coordination is Carrie Summers doing that the National Cathedral Secretariat cannot do? And why pay him upfront without performance? I mean, what's going on?
They say that the total fees paid for his consultancy services is less than $1 million. That's what they say here on point 11.
Yes, point 11.
Now, on the document that was presented to Parliament, what do they say there?
28.2 million.
For what?
Consultancy services.
To who?
The Nehemiah Group.
That's him?
Yes.
Okay. So it's 28 million?
Yes.
When was this presented to Parliament?
November of
last year,
2022. Yes.
So in November 2022, less than $1 million was 28 million.
That's what it means. That's what they are telling us.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I just can't fathom what's going on.
Okay.
And then you look at the modus operandi of Carrie Summers, Doc, as I conclude for Nana to come in. I have a whole dossier on Carrie Summers, and I am convinced that there's a lot of money laundering going on here. You see this same address, which the now National Cathedral of Ghana, registered in Oklahoma, is using that address now. And it's the same address Dr. Polopoku Mensah uses. The dossier I have secured on Carrie Summers, that same address, is registered so many companies there. So many companies with very interesting names.
The warehouse.
That warehouse, that same warehouse, he has here Churchill Coffee Company, from Abraham to Jesus. Another company.
Is the name of a company?
Yes, yes.
From Abraham
To Jesus. Yeah.
Okay.
Then he has Treasures of the Holy Land. That same address.
Yes.
Then Nehemiah Group is there. Adventure Legacy and Legends Tourism Development LLC is there. Carrie Lee Summers is there. Galilean Institute, same address.
Yeah.
Churchill Coffee Estate Company.
Yeah.
Churchill Coffee Company LLC. Ezra Management LLC. Out of Africa Coffee Company Limited LLC. Remix Coffee Company. The Nehemiah Group LLC. So Nehemiah Group is registered too. There's one Nehemiah Group LLC. Then he has the Waymakers LLLP.
Okay.
Then he has Summers and Blackstock Property Investment LLC.
Okay.
16 companies, same address.
But there's nothing illegal.
No, I haven't said so.
About
But
having-
I'm just looking at his modus operandi.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced. In any case, so far,
This is consultancy engineering.
we have taken our money, $6 million, and given him. All of what they have brought in, what they told Parliament, US fundraising,
Yes.
is less than 1 million Ghana cedis, less than 800,000 Ghana cedis.
What we have received.
Yes, what we have received, 794,990.
That's what we've.
Yes,
From all the
of this, after taking our $6 million away and all of that, all we have got Ghana cedis. What they told Parliament, 794,900. This super guy.
But that's exactly what we spent on the Kempinski.
And that's
project.
what, yes, that's
Kempinski.
yes.
event.
And when they returned, they used it at Kempinski, and the money was all gone. So what's going on here?